Hey guys, it's Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video all about how I decided to go back to school for nursing, what I did for undergrad that kind of led me here, and kind of how I chose my school, how I chose my program, all kinds of stuff like that. I did get a request for this on one of my first videos, so thank you so much to whoever requested this. I can't remember off the top of my head, but let's just get started. I did take notes on my phone just to make sure that I'm hitting all the points and kind of keeping myself organized. But I'll start off with what my first degree was in, kind of how I chose that, and kind of work my way through my college experience the first time. So for those of you who don't know, I am in an accelerated bachelor's/master's program. So this is my second degree. My first bachelor's degree was in biology. I went to the University of Delaware. My diploma is actually right behind me, but so I graduated from there back in 2018, and I, went into college with a biology major thinking that I wanted to do some sort of healthcare. I wasn't exactly sure what. I was thinking dentistry for a while because I shadowed a few dentists. I worked at an orthodontist office during one of my school breaks in college, and it just seemed like an okay fit. I later, after taking organic chemistry and a lot of the really intense biology major classes, realized that I did not want to go to dental school anymore, so I started looking into other healthcare fields that maybe I would be more interested in so I could keep my biology degree. I was always planning on doing some sort of master's program or professional school after graduation anyway, so it didn't really bother me that I had to kind of change paths too much. But I looked into PA school, I looked into PT school, all kinds of stuff like that. I never wanted to be a doctor. I never looked into medical school at all. But after doing a lot of research, I really kind of fell in love with nursing and how you really are the patient's advocate and you spend so much time with the patients compared to a lot of other professions, and it really kind of drew me to nursing specifically. So that's kind of how I started off in college, realized that I didn't want to do what I was doing, and then decided on nursing school instead. I am super grateful that my school had a specific health professions career advisor at the Career Services Center. So I went to her, I sat down, I was like, I think I want to do nursing, but I have no idea what programs to look at, where to even begin, right? So she was actually the one that suggested to me looking into the dual bachelor's and master's program if I had any interest in being an NP at all, because it would have saved me an application, apply to everything all at once, and then you still have a bachelor's to fall back on if you decide that you don't want to continue on with the master's program, so you can still be an RN and practice as a nurse with a bachelor's degree, of course. So she's actually the reason that I even looked at these dual programs to begin with, because originally I was only looking at accelerated bachelor's programs because I didn't even know the dual programs were a thing. And so since I knew very clearly that I wanted to do a specific specialty, which I will get into in a little bit, I decided that doing the dual program or looking into dual programs was going to be the best choice for me, because for the master's program you have to pick your specialty when you apply, and it just kind of made sense. I wouldn't have to take the GRE again later in life. I wouldn't have to worry about prereqs or meeting all the requirements later in life. I would just be in with one application with the classes I already took in my biology degree, which luckily covered all of the prereqs for nursing school, at least most nursing programs that I was looking into, with the exception of a nutrition class that I just took in my last semester of school because I had a free spot. So it really did kind of work out really well for me that I met all the requirements now for the dual program, so I didn't have to worry about doing another application in the future once I was already working. And what's cool about a lot of these dual programs is you can take a break in between your bachelor's and your master's and work as an RN and gain that experience before you come back for your master's. Now, not every school offers that, and it depends on what your master's specialty is. If you do acute care, you have to work as an RN in between, but primary care, you don't have to. So some schools don't even offer acute care. You just can go straight through with the primary care. So that played a part in how I was looking at schools. Also, I wanted a school that had a dual program and gave you time off and had an acute care master's specialty. So I was kind of looking for a lot, but there are a lot of programs out there and they're growing each year. So those are kinds of the things that I was guided to look for and did look for in my process. And I really recommend that if you're even a little bit interested in becoming an NP at some point in your life, checking those out, because at least for my program, which I'm not going to say the specific school or program that I'm in to kind of maintain a little bit of my privacy, but my school, you have to work a minimum of 1 year as an RN, but you can take up to 5 years after you finish the bachelor's program to then finish your master's. So you can take it, you can take your master's classes part-time while you work as an RN, or you can come back full-time after a year and kind of bang it out all at once. I like that flexibility because I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to work and do it part-time so I can still have an income and everything, and kind of really experience what it's like to be a bedside RN before I move on to advanced practice. But you have the flexibility to choose, you know, whatever you want, which I really like because obviously nothing is certain. I might really love being a bedside nurse when I get that experience and not want to come back for my master's right away. So I like the flexibility that comes with that as well. So kind of getting into how I chose my program specifically, I know I kind of have touched on a lot of different pieces of it already, but the deciding factors of why I chose my program. So I guess I'll talk about what my specialty is first, and because that played a big role in choosing my program. So my specialty for my master's program is pediatric acute care, and then I'm doing a concentration in oncology. So I will sit for the nurse practitioner boards for pediatric acute care, but all of my clinical experience that I do during my master's program and my degree will have a concentration in oncology. There's no specific pediatric oncology NP board or for any, you know, specific specialty within pediatrics. It's all one board that you sit for, but I really liked that my school has the concentration so I can get that extra experience in oncology before working in oncology as an NP. So that kind of ties both questions together, is how I picked my specialty or what my specialty is, and then why I picked my program. It's because they had my program, my specialty, I guess. Not every school has a specific pediatric oncology program. It is kind of a growing field. There's some that have popped up since I applied, so this is what kind of made this program my top choice when I was applying. So also, I've talked about how I go to school in Philadelphia. I'm from New Jersey, that's where I was born and raised. I went to undergrad in Delaware, like I said, so Philadelphia has always just been the local area, the local city. So I was excited to stay close as well. It didn't really matter too much to me where I went to school. I applied to a school down in Georgia as well, but you know, having the local appeal of this school really appealed to me, so that played into a role in choosing my program as well. Also, something that I considered was what hospitals. are the different schools associated with, right? So of course I want to do pediatrics. I've said that a few times now, but I really wanted to pay attention to what children's hospitals were in the area, where the schools do their pediatric rotations, the faculty that does the pediatric classes. That really mattered to me, and being in the same city as one of the top children's hospitals in the entire world played a big role. I got to do my pediatric clinical at that hospital. Hopefully I will get to do another clinical rotation at that hospital. I've been able to shadow at the oncology outpatient center at that hospital. My faculty, all my pediatric faculty have worked at that hospital, so that played a huge role in it because it's already kind of getting my foot in the door at one of the best children's hospitals in the world just from having done my clinical there and being at a school in the same city. So, you know, it's a little bit different if you're choosing a different specialty. You know, not every city or every state even has a pediatric hospital, so, or a children's hospital. So that was something that really played a role in picking my program as well. So a little bit of backstory as to how I chose my specialty. I did mention that I am doing pediatric oncology, which is a very specific thing to know that you want to do it without even having finished your bachelor's in nursing yet, and I get that. And there's always, you know, room to change my mind, which I appreciate about my program is I can change my master's specialty within reason. If I decide that maybe oncology specifically isn't my fit, but something else in pediatrics is, or even I can switch to adult, which I will not be doing. I very much so know that my place is with pediatrics. I'm much better with kids. I'm more comfortable in that environment. I grew up working with kids, being around kids. It just feels very natural to me. So that's where that like pediatric part came in. But the oncology piece specifically actually came from my experience at the University of Delaware. We partner with a childhood cancer foundation that's local to my school, and we do a 12-hour dance marathon every year for that organization and raise a bunch of money. I think my senior year we raised over $2 million for them, and Delaware is not like a huge school, not like Penn State size or anything. So I was in a sorority in undergrad, and we got paired with a child who was fighting cancer, and we got to meet her family, and she would come to our events, her and her family, and I just got so fascinated by their story. I was so interested in their story, specifically in her older sister's story and how her younger sister's cancer diagnosis affected her and affected their whole family. So that kind of sparked my interest, the short version of sparking my interest in oncology specifically, but also kind of reaffirmed that I wanted to do nursing because you are the person that works directly with the family a lot of time. You know, you're the one that's there for 12 hours a day, checking in on them, helping them with whatever they need, giving them their medications. You're the more present figure, and I want to be able to work directly with the families as much as I can. So that's kind of my pediatric oncology story specifically, but that is all that I think I have to say about this topic. Definitely leave me questions down below if you have more questions or if anything was unclear. Kind of, I know it's a complicated process, especially if you have no idea where to even start looking. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I do want to do a mix of, you know, nursing and nursing school content as well as other just like general lifestyle stuff that I'm interested in. So if you like these nursing videos, definitely give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!